It is August 23rd, 2024. Welcome to the most recent edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey, he's Mike Smith, and it is the start of the 2024 football season.
That tonight?
Excited about that.
You going to a game anywhere tonight?
I am. For me, I thought to myself, I've been going to high school football games since 1976. Mm-hmm. And in some shape or form, either as an announcer, a member of the band, but never part of the football team in that respect. But and that's been consecutive up until I think 1988 was the only time I didn't do a football season on a Friday night because of I left Chillicothe, started working in Columbus at the time, and Randy Davies became the play-by-play voice of the Cavs on then B94 back then. So many moons ago. And here we are today. Thank you so much for joining us and walking down that little bit of roadway that I tended to, going through the woods with me would be an adventure. Never on the trail.
I just want to make sure I get back the way I came.
Yeah, Mike would run out of popcorn.
Lay some crumbs or something on the ground.
We don't have Mr. Hand 2 with us today. He is on a special assignment. It's not as special as the last assignment he was on, but he had made a commitment a little over a year ago, buying tickets for this band, Jiggity Wiggity Boggity. I can't remember the name. It was
something I had never heard of.
Yeah, and I don't think many people know.
Is this a joke or what?
But he is on his way to Detroit, Michigan for that.
Rocks Detroit City.
Yeah, maybe he'll luck out and actually see a band like Kiss or somebody.
See Gene Simmons walking around.
Yeah. Let's take a look at what the weather is doing for us as we head towards the weekend. And has been pleasant the last couple of days.
Yeah, still counting on that again today. Sunshine. I think we're going to be around 83 for a high today. For kickoff tonight, most kickoffs on Friday night for high school football around 7 o'clock, and that is going to be looking like maybe mid to upper 70s still. But by the end of the game, you might be down to about 68 or 69 degrees. So depending on how you handle a little chillier weather, you might just take a light sweater or something for the end of the game. But warming up over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, especially Sunday, looking for a high around 90, and that'll carry into Monday as well. But no rain as of right now in the forecast through the weekend.
I have this feeling that the air conditioning unit will be on in the broadcast booth to start.
I think we always had the windows open when we were there last year.
Is that right?
Because we like to at least get the mic sitting out the window, if possible.
So if you're sitting beneath our broadcast booth tonight, please don't sing, because then we'll be dinged with music licenses.
Yeah, and please don't use any profanity. I've sat around people like that over the years, too.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. But the good thing is we're not licensed by the FCC. We don't have to worry about that. So
that's true.
Fortunately, we don't have to worry about hitting a delay button in that respect. Litter Media Radio, you will find a link for that on our website, littermedia.com. If you happen to be at the game tonight and you see our banner, it's got a QR code. Just scan that QR code and it'll bring it right up to you. You'll be able to listen to it on your phone. Now, keep in mind there's about a minute and a half delay, but I think when radio introduced the delay system, 12 years ago?
Thanks, Howard Stern.
I think that has gotten everyone used to it in that respect. So the play-by-play is not matched up, but you'll be able to hear pregame interviews, halftime interviews, and the postgame interviews in that respect, and you'll be able to hear what they're actually saying on the field and in the booth as well. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll get you caught up to date with news, weather, and sports. But first, we'll take a look at what commercial I need to find.
I'm going to talk about it, but Dan's going to find it.
There it is.
Scioto Valley Dumpsters for a free estimate on a nice, as one of our presidential, a beautiful orange dumpster, 253-8389 for a free quote. Mr. Gerhardt will be happy to help you. You can have it for a day, have it for a week. Maybe you need it longer. Negotiate that price with Carl. Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
As we jump into the program today, remember you can go to our website, littermedia.com. This is a kind of a screenshot of what it looks like. You'll be able to find some of the things that we're going to be talking about today right there on our website. That's littermedia.com. Bumped into a fellow this morning. He says, Litter Media. He's looking at my shirt and he says, where do I know that from? And he's a recent graduate of high school. And he says, did you do something with the marching band? I said, yeah. He says, that's right, because he was in the band.
Yeah.
He remembered saying, you're the guy.
You're the guy.
And my future grandson was one of the boys I was talking to, and he says...
He act like he didn't know you.
He says, he runs it. Oh, really?
He the man.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at what is making news for us today.
Well, a recent Business After Business conducted with the Chillicothe-Ross Chamber of Commerce celebrated many of the volunteers that make United Way community impact programs work. While unable to attend that particular event, Linda Madison, who's on the far right, was honored for her dedicated service as a former board member and treasurer. Her long-standing volunteerism has been invaluable to United Way, and I knew her when she was Linda Sims and rode my school bus when I was just a kid.
Just a little boy.
And she attended our church out in Lauderdale, Ohio.
Very nice. Congratulations. Waverly City Schools, in partnership with OSU Extension Office of Pike County, was able to provide a greenhouse and supplies to the school. Mrs. Casey Phillips of the Family Consumer Service classes will be utilizing this greenhouse this year to grow fresh vegetables and flowers. As they explore this process in transitions in careers and interior design, Waverly City Schools will also be looking at development of each student being responsible for caring for a plant. We actually had a greenhouse when I was in high school at Taze Valley.
Really?
It was built onto the science lab.
Okay.
And it didn't look as nice as this, but it was a greenhouse nonetheless. But congratulations.
That's where you learned how to have a green thumb, not a black thumb.
Let's just say that I grew the legal plants, and I'm sure others were trying to grow something.
Tomatoes and things like that, yeah. Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Forestry invites the public to attend in-person open houses to learn more about the annual work plan for state forests. Now, of the three, one's in Findlay, Ohio, but the two closest to us will be at the Southeastern District Athens headquarters Tuesday, September 10th from 4:30 to 6:30. And then on the 11th of September, same time frame, there's one at the Southern District headquarters in Chillicothe, which is pictured right there. And that also is 4:30, 6:30 on September 11th.
We are closing in on the annual SamJam Bluegrass Festival. It is coming up on August 28th and runs through September 1st. Always a lot of fun. Here's the lineup that you'll see. It all starts Wednesday. They've got more bluegrass on Thursday. If that's not enough for you, how about Friday, Saturday? And they wrap things up on Sunday as well. And I was looking through it. I think we have, here's some of the folks who will be playing. I cannot identify these individuals.
Yeah, they didn't send the names of the bands, but if you recognize them, that's who they are.
Yes.
Some of the headliners.
They're all grinning.
Yeah.
And some of them be picking.
Yes, sir.
So you want to make sure you get out to the annual SamJam Bluegrass Festival. Again, that will be taking place at the Pike County Fairgrounds, and they've got that new grandstand and everything. So I know it's a year old now, but still, it's much more comfortable than what it was in the past.
The Chillicothe-Ross Chamber of Commerce has announced this week that they will again be hosting the downtown Scarecrow contest. Registrations and photos are due September the 30th by 4 p.m., which would be the close of business that day. And there's an entry fee this year of $10.
Mm-hmm. And if you've not been downtown this morning, the streets in front of the Ross County Courthouse and going down to the law complex are filled with sand today. And they are smoothing it out, preparing for the battle on the beach. And that's going to be later tonight, starts at 5:30. And then it'll be the Beach Fest that'll be taking place. You see a lot of the volunteers in the background there. And this skidder, man, he was going.
Yes, sir.
He was making, and
looky there.
I happened to notice that I found our banner.
There you go. Bring it back, Tiffany.
But there are tons of, I think it's more than 300 tons of sand that has been placed on the streets. Competition for Sand in the Streets volleyball begins tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and everything should be done tomorrow night by about 6 o'clock from what we're told. So then they'll start scraping everything up, and by noontime Sunday, and I want you to check this, Mike, when you come into church,
yeah.
Drive down and take a look. You won't be able to tell that there was something there.
Maybe since it's in front of the courthouse, and instead of the court cases dueling it out with the attorneys, maybe they can just go out and play sand volleyball for the winner of the case.
Yeah, there we go. That's a neat idea.
The judge can be the referee. Yeah,
I can
see Judge Benson out there doing that.
Yeah. Might be a little hot in that robe.
I'd say.
I want to make sure he's wearing just the robe. So stay cool. So, of course, that'll be taking place again today and then again later tomorrow. But again, by Sunday, this will all be taken away.
Yes, sir. Our road report today is in Fayette County. State Route 729 between I-71 and US 35 has daily lane restrictions between 7 and 5, and that goes through August 26th for pavement repair. And another note, if you were out on 104 this morning, the big super load, it's already gone. It's making its way through Pickaway County at this hour, heading to Franklin County, and eventually on to the Intel plant.
Mm-hmm. In Licking County, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at sports for you, and this date in history takes us back to
1926. A heartthrob passes away.
Details coming up.
Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. Full disclosure, I've been dealing with Accurate for many, many years, and I've had them out to our place, my father-in-law's place, for all three of these categories. And I tell you what, when you've been dealing with a business for 20 or 30 years, it's kind of a good idea to say you're satisfied with the service.
They become family.
They do indeed. Point. They do indeed. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Find them online at AccurateHVAC.com or click on this ad anywhere you see it at LitterMedia.com.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Pain was interfering with Tiffany's active lifestyle. Same-day hip replacement at the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute got her back to the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Time for sports, and we begin with our high school roundup.
Yeah, scoreboard from last night. Big matchup in high school volleyball. I always refer to this when they were playing basketball as the Battle of the Burbs. Unioto, Chillicothe. This was a thriller, folks. The fourth and final set was probably the least exciting. In the first set, Chillicothe had a late lead, but Unioto rallied for a 25-21 win. Chillicothe led. They had set point against Unioto 24-19, and the Shermans finished with a 7-0 run for a 26-24 victory. Chillicothe won the third set, but Unioto wins the match with a 4-3 3-1 win in that set.
I'm worn out just hearing you talk about it.
Yeah, it was wild. I was following along a lot of the gym cams. They have Max Prep Gym Cam or something like that, and we were kind of watching that as we were in Washington Courthouse. Battle of Pickaway County, Circleville shuts out Teays Valley. But that look at the sets there. They were as close as you can be because you got to win by 2. Mm-hmm. So even though it was 3-0, each one of those sets was close. Another Battle of Pickaway County, Loganell beat Westfall in straight sets. But probably one of the athletic stories of the night, Fairfield Union's Christian Thompson, who's already committed to go to Ohio University. She got her 1,000th career kill, but in a 5-set win over Zane Trace, she had 44 kills. That is tied for 7th place in state history.
Wow.
Her teammate Peyton Reimer, who was probably feeding Christian most of the time, she set a school record with 62 assists.
That's incredible. Look at that South Webster Notre Dame match.
Yeah, that went 5. Medina, in fact, has to travel to South Webster tomorrow, but Notre Dame took a very tough Wheelersburg team to 4 sets earlier in the week. 5 with South Webster. Eastern Pike a winner. Waverly got by Jackson, and then you can see the rundown there.
I see there's a football score up there.
First football game of the season last night, at least in our area. Portsmouth a winner over Valley. I think Portsmouth might have been up 15-0 at one point. Valley made a game of it, but the Trojans winning it by a score of 15-12. Boys soccer. Chillicothe gets blanked by Teays Valley 1-0. Circleville, Hillsboro, London over Miami Trace. Hartley beats Bloom-Carroll, Wheelersburg, White Oak, and Athens all winners. On the girls' side, Teays Valley, they put it on Chillicothe, 9-1.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know that Teays Valley girls have lost yet, though.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough.
And 9-1, Chillicothe's goalkeeper had 11 saves.
Yeah.
So
Could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Waverly, Hillsboro, Warren, and Logan all winners in girls tennis. Chillicothe still undefeated in the FAC. They beat Washington 4-1. Non-conference play, Circleville over Hamilton Township in an MSL matchup 4-1. Athens beat Logan by a score of 3-2.
We'll talk a little bit more in depth about the game in just a moment, but the Litter Media Game of the Week has Bloom-Carroll at Chillicothe, and all Cavalier fans are encouraged to participate in the Blue Out by wearing their Cavalier blue. The fish fry starts at 4. That will go until 7 or until they run out of fish. Mm-hmm. I believe there's like 400 pounds of perch they have ready to help with this tonight. Tailgating in the intermediate parking lot, that will be right there along Arch Street. So if you're familiar with the school system, you know that's the intermediate school, and then the football field is right off to the left there. Tailgating will take place 4:30 to 6:30. They'll have a ribbon cutting for the new turf in recognition of the Touchdown Club, which gave $500,000 to make sure that was taken care of. That starts approximately 6:30. We'll also be recognizing the naming of the field house in the honor of one Mr. Do-It-All. That is Dennis Murphy. That'll take place approximately 6:40. And, of course, they are the Litter Media Game of the Week. They've got a bunch of other things going on. They've got a lot of the downtown businesses agreed to paint blue and white in their storefronts and everything. They've got a DJ, I believe it is Ray Martin, is going to be out there spinning some tunes for you tonight. Cornhole, 9 Square, and a whole bunch of other things, including face painting for the kids. That's all before the game starts.
How about that?
We'll be there too. Mike Smith and BJ Daly have the call. Our coverage begins around 6:50 or so this evening here on Litter Media Radio. If you're looking at this on your laptop or your desktop, just scan that QR code you see there with your smartphone, and it will take you right to where you need to listen to the contest. Or you can go to littermedia.com, and you'll find a little radio icon up in the right-hand corner. But also on the front page, whatever is on the air now is playing. So
and if you want to hear yesterday's preview show again, that starts at about 6 on Litter Media Radio.
Precisely. So check it all out on Litter Media Radio. Cincinnati Reds, man, they looked great the night before, brought our hopes up, and then Nick Lodolo just fell apart. But let's be honest, they were taking on the Skeens kid for Pittsburgh, who has just been lights out here of late. They will open up a set with Pittsburgh starting last night. They'll continue that in Pittsburgh. I had to chuckle because I've always said Pittsburgh, they've got P everywhere. I mean, they got a P logo behind the home plate. There's P on everything. And then I noticed on their sleeves, the gas station Sheetz is one of their sponsors. Yeah. So there's your bathroom humor for today. The Yankees flushed the Guardians, and 6-0 the final there. That series is now done, and I didn't look to see who they're playing. Rangers. Okay. Are they in Cleveland, or is this a road game?
Texas.
Okay, so on their way to Arlington to do that battle. And that will be live for you tonight somewhere on a sports-related network. Mm-hmm. All right. And the Bengals, I didn't get the final score on it. I can't remember what it was, but
I think they lost, didn't they?
They did lose to the Indianapolis Colts. The Cleveland Browns will have their final preseason game, and that is Saturday night. They're playing in Seattle, and it doesn't start till 10 o'clock Eastern time.
And does college football start? I know it doesn't for Ohio State, but
Yes.
is anybody playing this weekend?
They're playing in Ireland tomorrow. Okay. Florida State is playing Georgia Tech.
Okay. I'm trying to think what connection either one of those schools would have with the Blarney Stone.
College and drinking.
You would think Boston College would be the team you'd have sent over.
Yeah, well, that might be one for the future. I don't know, but now
or Notre Dame, for crying out loud.
Precisely.
The Irish, yes.
Precisely. But Georgia Tech and FSU, this is a conference game, right?
I believe so.
Aren't they both in the ACC?
I've lost track of who's in what conference with all the changes. So.
Yeah. I was watching something yesterday, and they were talking about the travel time for Oregon, USC, and UCLA in the Big Ten. Yeah. And it's going to be like 8,800 miles. And this is just for football.
Yeah, it's nuts. I don't know what they were thinking of other than money, but
that's it. They're thinking TV money. Yeah, is all I can figure. So, all right, coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at this date in history. We don't always talk about passing on the program, but if they're notable people, we do. And this is a notable person.
This was a very notable person in their time. A lot of women were very sad when this happened.
Absolutely. All right.
Litter Quality Propane. There's no bill when there's a fill. Contact Litter Quality Propane today about our metered gas service at litterpropane.com.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track. That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
You know, we're talking about the legacy of longtime businesses in our community, and Haynes Total Healthcare Center is celebrating 50 years of serving the chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs of the community. If you click on this ad anywhere you see it on littermedia.com, It'll take you right to their website to learn more. HaynesHealth.com.
I first met Jeff Haynes back in the 1980s when he was the official chiropractic provider for the Team USA Karate.
Wow.
And I was working for Dave Smith at the time, and he asked me to go out and interview him. So I went out. That was the first time I walked into Haynes Chiropractic Center. Not much longer after that, my wife started working there. Mm-hmm. And Brandon was just a little guy then. And it's so funny to walk in, and now he's the senior member.
So was
staff.
Jeff working with Don Madden at that time?
Yes.
Yeah, because Don was a USA coach.
Right. So forth. And Stan Planton was involved with all that too. So the good old days. Mm-hmm. All right. This date in history.
I don't even know who you would compare a modern-day lover actor to this guy. Rudolph Valentino passed away on this date in 1926. Now, these were in the silent movie days. He was only 31 years old.
Really?
And it sent fans into a hysterical state of mass mourning. In his brief film career, the Italian-born actor established a reputation as the silver screen's greatest lover. After his death from a ruptured ulcer, tens of thousands of people paid tribute at his open coffin in New York City, and 100,000 mourners lined the streets outside the church where funeral services were held. After that, Valentino's body then traveled by train from New York all the way to Hollywood, where he was laid to rest at another funeral, and the process continued on with tens of thousands of more. But many women were mourning the loss of the great silver screen lover, Rudolph Valentino. I think The Sheik was his most famous movie.
You need to take note here, guys, that he died of a ruptured ulcer, probably from courting all those women.
Could be. You know, I don't know what he was like in real life. Probably not anywhere near the screen image. It's the way we usually see it. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that. You know, you think about the individuals we've had the opportunity to meet during our careers, and I'm trying to think. I don't know that I've met somebody that just didn't pan out to be who I thought they were.
Yeah. But who would you look at as the great screen lover of today? I can't think of any, because they try to be so versatile in the roles they get. You don't have them dedicated to just, being the lover.
I know there's a number of people who swoon over, like The Rock, the guy who plays Thor, Christian Hemsworth, people like that. But Rudy, and let's be honest. You take a look. Movies were so new then, and you were seeing something up on the screen, and so he didn't have this vast competition of good-looking guys to compete with.
Bigger than life, they say. Yeah. Charlie Chaplin wasn't exactly a sexy guy.
He was funny, though.
What was the guy, the actor? In fact, they were just featuring he and Greta Garbo this week. In fact, I want to think George Brett, but that is not who it was. It'll come to me here in a minute. But they were talking about the chemistry that Garbo and this other well-known actor, but he was mostly known for the silent screen. He didn't transfer well over into the talkies, where Garbo did. And they said it was just chemistry. The first time they ever met prior to one of their movies, I think they made, 9 or 10 movies together, and they said that there was a love affair between them.
John Gilbert?
John Gilbert. There we go. John Gilbert. A lot of people never heard of John Gilbert, but you've heard of Greta Garbo. But Garbo was able to make it into the talkies. John Gilbert was not a successful talkies actor. Maybe he talked like this or something. I don't know.
I don't recall the movie, but it was about Buster Keaton and the transition from silent movies into the talkies. And what's the word that he had trouble with? I can't remember if it was actually Buster Keaton playing the part or someone reenacting Buster Keaton. but it was a large word, and he just couldn't nail it.
Yeah.
And it was a problem for him. And I think at that point in time says, you know what, this just isn't for me anymore.
I saw Buster Keaton was used in, like, it was almost cameo appearances. And he was so sad because he was so big in silent movies, but there was another one that just never could make it because of his, I don't know if it was a speech impediment of some type or what, but just kind of a sad figure.
Saw some things like when radio transitioned from analog over to digital. I just couldn't believe when I heard one day a friend of ours who was just fantastic on microphone. He says, I just can't get it. I think I'm going to step away from the business because I just can't transition to the digital age. And I hate to see that, but
you know, there's been a big thing going, and this went back to when you and I were still on terrestrial radio, which is the over-the-air radio. Of course, Litter Media is internet radio only. But there's been a big push for several years now to take AM radio off the terrestrial band. And if you've been listening to any of the terrestrial stations, there's a big push, ads, write your congressman, we can't have. That's something that is the government is seriously considering and has been considering for some time. So Litter Media Radio may be what radio becomes, and only we're there now.
And, you know, you go back to looking at the cars. Now, I'm sure there was a point in time when cars were built and didn't have radios in them. Well, then the only radios were in there were AMs.
Right.
And I recall having my Plymouth Duster, which I bought off of my sister for, I think, $200. My dad had taken an FM converter, added that to my car dash, and now the last couple of cars that I've had don't have a CD player in them. The one before only had a cassette deck in it. And so even our home entertainment inside the car has changed so much. I mean, I remember Toyota came out with, it was the first car line that put iHeartRadio in their car on its dash. And now Litter Media Radio is available too. You can just, if you've got CarPlay in your car, just pop it in there, search for live365.com, and it'll pop right up on the app, and there's Litter Media Radio.
You remember when you could listen to the radio in your car without the key being ignition?
Yeah.
Of course, you could also run your battery down that way, so that was a problem. Yeah. So,
do you remember the submarine races? I was thinking about this the other day when Aaron had proposed to Kinsey. For those of you just tuning in, Mr. Hand 2 is not with us today, but he last week had proposed, and she said yes. And
they're not running off to get married today, Mom. Right. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
That we know of.
Yeah,
but it's just, I go back and I'm thinking to myself, what was his excuse for taking her to the point? I mean, did he at some point in time say, we're going to the submarine races like we saw during Happy Days?
Yeah, really.
You know?
Oh, well.
Funny the things we remember. All right, that's it for today's show. Thank you for joining us here on Litter Media Live. We try to make it entertaining along with informative for you as well. So Dan and Mike, like you remember us on the radio. It's on Litter Media Radio. You'll be able to hear this program throughout the rest of the day, including also some other programming that we'll share for you too. So make sure you're there. Live action begins at 6:50 this evening from the Obadiah Harris Family Athletic Complex with BJ Daly, who's joined our broadcast team this year with Mike Smith. I'll be sitting off on the side. And Dan Jr. will be walking around in the
He'll be doing the work today.
Yeah, so he was already joking. He said, I'm going to go over to the Bloom-Carroll coach, and I'm going to say, I'm Dan Ramey from Litter Media, which he really is going to be.
Oh, really?
On a voluntary basis tonight. No money's being exchanged that I know
Probably free meal, and Dad will take him out to dinner or something.
He's been using my mower for 6 years. So
payback time.
I know I can hear him saying, yeah, but I change your oil. Yeah, but we babysit for free. It could go back and forth the whole time.
Never stop.
That's it for the show today. Thanks for watching Litter Media Live. Back with you again on another edition next week here on Litter Media.